last time that we got together and did an Operation Recall review, you may remember that we looked at the Wave 2 Paint Masters. These were engineering pilots and they were hand painted. So, starting off with our number one guy for Wave 2, his name is Rotello. He's a radio teletype operator with a carrier pigeon there. Homer is that little guy. And he's got a drone on his backpack and he's got some really cool straps that wrap around, and very happy with how those turned out. This figure was designed by Ron Rudat, and so that's Rotello and Homer. And then the second figure that we reviewed was Bear Claw and his little buddy Wilson, who is a raccoon that he befriended while out in the woods. What's up, Crazy Eddie? Doing a unboxing for the factory final engineering prototypes. So hopefully you enjoy. So what I'm showing right now though are hand painted engineering pilots. And so these are not final. One example of that, and I don't think this is fixed this go around, but we'll see. The top of the boots here is supposed to be a different brown color. So for example, there's small changes like that that still happen after this process. So you have Rotello and his bird Homer, and then you have Bear Claw and his friend, which I named Wilson. Little nod to Castaway there. And then number 3 is the Luchador Championship Wrestler. His name is Soul Eagle. Look at that shiny belt. And again, these are hand-painted prototypes. So he's a bulky figure. He's got a lot of vascularity. He's got veins in his biceps and everything. He looks amazing. He's a very diesel figure. We were calling him, instead of Soul Eagle, we were calling him Swole Eagle. Or I like to call him Soul Diesel. But anyway, Soul Eagle is a very massive character, wide, broad shoulders, lots of muscles. And then Bear Claw is actually very tall. He's one of the tallest figures in the line. He will be right up there with General Mortifero, which already shipped in Wave 1. And so he'll be as tall as Mortifero, but he will be taller when he wears his bear skin. So he's going to be a big, looming, imposing figure. And Rotello is your standard 3.75 inch 1/18 scale action figure. Again, for those who just started, these are hand-painted prototypes. These are called engineering pilots. And this is Bingle, who I think is the sexiest O-ring female figure ever made. She is incredible, absolutely beautiful. Could not be happier with her. And you'll see the year two version of her as well, where we've sculpted a different hair piece for her. She lets her hair down for the Midnight Ops, but there's a good look at Bingle. And of course she comes with, all these guys come with, additional accessories, but she comes with a really cool Lapua Magnum. I just missed that comment, so I'm not gonna be able to catch every comment, but if I look up and see it, I will try to address it. But so she's got a Lapua Magnum, and of course it comes with a rifle case. And yes, this is what is coming in May. Thank you for that question. So these 4 figures are Wave 2, and these are what are coming in May. They're already obviously very far along in the process at the factory. This is the weapons case that comes with Bingle. It's got 3 nice extra mags in there. Those are not removable, but they do have 2 paint apps there, that light tan, that dusty desert color, and then the gold on the rounds. And then you'll see in her at her breast right here, and also on her forearm right here, she's got the same gold rounds. So we're matching color everywhere we look. Now, one of the things that we changed from this going forward is on this communications device, which you'll see on several of the Atlas operatives. We've added a second paint app on that to call out all the buttons. And so you guys will see additional paint details as we move into the FEPs tonight. All right, so these are the hand-painted engineering prototypes. Get those off the table. Actually, I'll just slide them down here. We'll do it just like that. I love Wilson. He's such a cool accessory. We'll put Homer over here. All right, so you guys give me a minute. I'm going to open this box straight from the factory, and I will put some new stuff out on the table for you. So those of you that have gotten Wave 1, I hope you're enjoying it. We actually spent the last couple weeks, we took delivery of the Wave 1 freight in January 28th, the end of the month in January, and since then we have shipped every single Kickstarter order and backer kit order. So we are all caught up now, which is why I am finally taking a break and getting on the, let's see what this says. I'm hoping to buy some more next month. I hope you buy some more next month too. Thank you. So I finally have had the time to take a break and look at these FEPs. So one of the things that they send with these is the bubbles, right? For us to look at how the accessories are going to land on the card backs and everything. I won't go through that with you guys tonight. I'll probably just go through the figures with you tonight. But these are sample, bubbles to get a feel for how the accessories fall on the card back. So we'll move on from that. Here is the good stuff. This is what you guys want to see. A bag full of final engineering pilots. And you will, of course, also want to see the packaging. So we'll get into that. But first, let's look at some figures. All right, so this is the final engineering prototypes. These are all cast in the proper plastic colors, and then they have the spray ops applied. And interestingly, I've had the factory shooting some videos for me and sending some stills to me while they've been working on these final engineering pilots, and it is fascinating to see. And I will be including a bunch of those video clips in the upcoming documentary on the making of Operation Recall. So if you're interested in how toys are made, you will definitely get a crash course in that. And that's one of the things we've been working on all the way throughout this project. So we've got some Soul Eagle. I'll do him third. I'm going to go through them in the same order that I did the engineering pilots. Here's Bingle. We'll do her fourth. And so as you can see, they send me a few of these, and these are what you call final engineering pilots, and oh, they look good. So I can already tell some of the details that we asked for last time, like the laces on Soul Eagle's boots, or the laces on his face mask. Those are new details. There might be some small changes from what you see tonight going forward. Here's our boy Rotello, so we'll jump in on him first. But just keep in mind that there might be some small changes going forward from tonight. These are not final. These are final engineering pilots, but that just means they're not final, they're almost final. Final engineering pilot is a bit of a misnomer. You still have chances at the factory level and also at the client level to change directions, to improve some things. And so that's what we're always looking to do. And that's what we will be doing with these figures. So I'm going to look at these with a very critical eye and try to catch anything and everything. You don't want to get 3,000 of these made and then get them in hand and then think to yourself, oh man, I really wish I would have changed that color or modified that accessory or done whatever. So let's dig in on Rotello. Now, for those of you that don't know the story behind this guy, I'll recap it real quick. When I was 10 years old, I said that, cool, Cobra Lang's going to pick some up. That's awesome, man. I appreciate it. Every bit of support helps. And, minimum order quantities at the factory are 3,000. And so we've already pre-sold about 1,500 to 2,000 of each of these. So we definitely could use, some additional OR Army participants, man. So tell everybody you know about this stuff. Those of you that have been supporting this line from day one, you guys are the early adopters. You're the recruits that, have been on board with us the whole time. And God bless you, man. We could not do this without you guys. So thank you so much to every one of you. Like literally, these would not happen if we didn't have the successful Kickstarter that we had, followed by the successful backer kit that we had. So thank you guys so much for that. Now these are final engineering pilots, man. This stuff, this torso, for example, was poured in blue. And then there were masks cut and there were spray apps added. And actually a lot of these details are being added by hand. I was thrilled to see some behind the scenes shots showing Hellhound, for example. Now Hellhound, he was cast in this light brown color, but the dark brown colors were all hand painted. And then the vest, they cut a mask out, put a little clamp over it with the mask cut out for the vest and sprayed that, turned it over, sprayed that. But then all the red that's added on top of that, hand painted. The little details on the face with a little articulation point, he's got a great little articulation point. That adds so much emotion for a dog, just to be able to tilt their head. So anyway, a lot of the paint apps are actually done by hand, and I was pretty shocked to see the percentage of paint apps that were done by hand. So God bless all the workers that are doing amazing work for this line. The paint apps are unsurpassed. I am incredibly happy with the detail of these paint apps. Like just in the eye here, he's got the brown around the eyes, but then there's a little red for like the white of the eyes are red. And then there's a little brown dot in the middle of it for the pupil. I don't know if that's going to show up on video, but the paint apps are absolutely incredible on these guys. Most of this, again, hand painted, cast in light brown, hand painted dark brown, hand painted red, sprayed on green. So obviously they cast it in brown, then they sprayed on the green, and then they came in and did all the paint apps by hand. And I'll be showing you guys photos and videos of that to give you an idea. So this is Ritello. He's our radio teletype operator. He looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. The backstory for this is I designed this guy when I was like 10 years old. It was 1989. I was 10 years old and a little punk rock. So anyway, I submitted this to Hasbro as a 10-year-old, and I drew up like a little dossier for him. I did basically a figure turnaround, like a figure sculpture sheet for this guy. And I included which parts could be reused from other characters, which parts would need to be new. I tried to save them some money. And so one of the things you'll see with these is the wrist articulation. It should be nice and easy, right? Yeah, a lot of us are bald these days. And then the hands are softer. So let's see. And then the backpack has these really soft straps, very flexible, that come out like this. And then there's two little holes at the bottom, so you can adjust the tension if you want it tighter or if you want it looser, right? Then you can adjust the straps just like that. And I don't think I've seen that done on a 3 3/4 inch figure. So I'm very excited about this backpack. You know, this is a Ron Rudat design. And when the designers call for something that's pretty complicated, like a backpack like this with straps, yeah, I was a little, you know, this was a little daunting, you know. I love the way that there's a cutout in there for his neck and head to sit right back in that backpack. This backpack sits kind of high on his shoulders. And of course, he's got the communications antenna, and then he's got the perch for Homer. So let's get in here and get Homer on there. So that's exactly how he should fit. And then you want to do the thing, the shake test, to make sure that these things, because this is coming off the mold. This is cut in steel, and then this is poured plastic. And so you want to make sure that yeah, that everything stays where it should. So if Ritello is supposed to perch right on here, you want to put him on there and do your shake test and make sure that he's good to go, that you have the right amount of tension on the legs. So yeah, the straps in the backpack turned out really, really well. Shout out to my project manager, Big Joe. He recommended adding the detail on the back side of the backpack right here, where you can see that, kind of like an old Alice frame. And, you know, I can't say enough good things about Big Joe as a project manager. He's worked with Delta 17, he's worked with Valaverse, he's worked with a ton of people. Extremely professional, good communicator. So if you guys are going to do an independent toy line, I would say consider working with him and consider working with the factories that he's working with, because they're doing amazing work for us. If you like the Delta 17 line, you will be very pleased with Operation Recall as well. So there's a communications antenna, a little perch for Ritello. There's the soft straps, right? And then on the back side, or on the, yeah, we'll call this the back side. Not the inside, but the outside, the back side. It's got a little hole in it here, and that is for the lens of the drone, right? So this is a surveillance drone. I believe Larry Hama named it Gray Eagle 1, and this is the drone. And what we did was we went in here on the little peg and put like the little details of, let's see, of like a zoom lens. I'm a DSLR camera guy. I've got some Canon, you know, 5D Mark IIIs. And so we added some camera zoom detail right there on the peg, which is really cool. And then there's actually a little lip right on the inside there, which is how it would look with a lens. So you can see kind of the little edges of the lens there. So let's go ahead and put that in here. And that's one of the things you want to test, you know, the kind of the tension there. This should be what's called a friction fit, right? You put it in, there's not a snap sound, but there's enough tension there. There you go. So Crazy Eddie, I just sent out samples to the entire creative team today. So literally I shipped 700 orders in December to the all-in backers. I shipped about 700 orders in late January when I got in all of the freight for the remaining Kickstarter and backer kit orders. And then I shipped another maybe 350 website orders. And then I just shipped all the freebies out to the team literally today. So stay tuned for their reactions, hopefully, on social media. Because these guys, you know, I've already mentioned Rod Rudat worked on this one. And you guys remind me, keep me honest. If I don't say that for every figure, I'd like to give credit where credit's due. All right, so you got the drone, you got the backpack, you've got Ritello that clamps right onto the backpack. And look at the paint apps on Ritello. This is insane. He's molded in the light gray, but then he's got the olive drab on his chest and on his little Rob Liefeld pouches on the backside here, his little carrier pouches. He's actually got a little helmet on. He could probably take a 22 to the dome and still live. He's got the dark gray here on the wings and on the tail. He's got the light blue right here on his neck, which is very common for pigeons, and it matches the shirt on Ritello, which is really cool. He's got the orange on the feet, and then he's got silver on his little canister. That is an insane amount of paint apps for an accessory. And I realize, you know, this is not G.I. Joe. This is if the creators of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero were able to make all new action figures and they didn't have the budgetary constraints and the engineering constraints of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, what would they do? This is the answer. Everything that we're doing here, Ron Rudat called for this, right? He wanted to have, what is it, 6 paint apps on this carrier pigeon. So yeah, let's do it, man. 6 colors it is. I'm not gonna nickel and dime these designers, and I'm not gonna water down their vision to save a buck here and there. I'm not a corporate penny pincher. I don't have shareholders. I've actually man, let's be candid, guys. I've taken out a bunch of money from my home. My own home equity and part of my retirement is in this. I am not pulling any punches. I am not cutting anything budgetarily. I'm saying yes to every good idea. All right, so this is Ritello's helmet right here. It's a communications helmet, as you would expect. So he's got the big over-ear headphones, got the communications device right here, the little microphone, of course. He's got the goggles on the helmet with the heads-up display. Hopefully you guys can see that. Not sure how focus is on this phone. All right. So I believe that is all the accessories for Ritello. He's got beautiful paint apps. As I said, the blue on the bird matches the blue on his chest. We are painting our rivets, which I think creates a visual, you know, a more cohesive visual appearance than not painting the rivets. And so that's a little break from vintage, and it's something that, you know, this is an homage to the vintage stuff, but let's be honest, I want these to be better than vintage. One of the ways that they're better is the swivel wrist articulation, so you can hold the machine guns and accessories better. You've got all the same articulation that you would expect from a 1/18th figure, and yeah, swivel wrists, you got the bending knees, you got the ball joint on the hips, right? You got the ball joint on the shoulders. Of course, you got the torso articulation. And yeah, you got the ball joint head where you can look up, down, left, right, all around, kind of really stretch that head out. So yeah, he's looking amazing. I don't think I will belabor reviewing these guys too much. He's got a little infrared sensor up there. He's got smoke grenades here. You know, different colors represent different things. Different signals to the rest of the team. He's got concussion grenades. He's got his Special Forces belt buckle. He's got his communications tablet right here with a nice little paint app and a keyboard on that. It's got kind of a QWERTY keyboard on it. He's got a flare gun on his leg. This one was sculpted by Bill Merkline, and then 3D sculpted by Carter, James Carter, Carter the Conqueror, who's doing amazing work for us. Very happy with him as well. And so that's Ritello. You guys let me know what you think about Ritello and Homer in the comments. And he also, of course, comes with the Atlas stand. And the beauty of these stands, you got 2 foot pegs, so you can stand them with the left foot or the right foot, whichever direction you want them to be heading. They have a paint app on the stands. Like, how many toy lines do paint apps on the stands? What we wanted to do was the 360 three-dimensional Atlas logo. It's the Anti-Terrorist Legion of Allied Soldiers is Atlas. That's our good guys. And so we have a touch of red on the A there. And it's just a beautiful logo. The logo was designed by Ron Rudat as well. And so he did all the sketches. He is not the leader of Atlas, Eddie. Thank you for asking. Let's see, just make sure if you have too much bulk on the legs, make sure you can better wider vehicles so they can slide in for the seating. Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate that. I will definitely be checking these with some vehicles, and I appreciate that heads up. I'll have a look at that. The legs do come together pretty well, and so I don't think we have an issue with him. But you know, there is some bulk here with this flare gun, and we'll see if that creates any issues in any cockpits. But I don't, you know, again, there's an engineering perspective there where I don't think every figure has to fit in every vehicle. I'm 6'3" and I don't fit in every vehicle. I'd love to have a Jaguar F-Type. I've test driven one. I don't own it. I don't fit, you know, and so that's more of the real world. So anyway, I love the details all the way down to the gloves with the brass knuckles here. He's absolutely a beauty. So somebody asked if he was the leader figure for Operation Recall. He is not. He's a communications officer, but he is not the leader. We will be giving you guys more details about the leadership structure still to come, but do know that we're working on it. I'm sorry, guys. I keep missing comments. I see a couple questions here and there, and if I miss something, it's not intentional, and I apologize. But it's just me in the photo studio opening badass toys. Let me see. We'll put him right here so you guys can look at him while I open up the next one. I love the Tiger Stripe fatigues, by the way. That is a Vietnamese Tiger Stripe fatigue, and that's a tribute to my father, who is still with us. He's 81. He was in Vietnam for 3 years, and he had a bunch of Tiger Stripe fatigues laying around the house when I was growing up. And so, what vehicle do you want to make first for the line? I want to make basically like a modern MRAP is what I want to make. And I'll tell you more about it in due time. But that's a vehicle that we could produce much more quickly because I have a good friend that's already produced one. And, well, I'll just go ahead and tell you. He has agreed to let us use his molds. And so what we're going to do is modify that to make it more toyetic, more like an A Real American Hero type vehicle. So we're going to strip out the realistic gunner's cockpit and put on something more like the Hammer from 1990. And so I'm going to have Frank Coroneros do the design for the modifications of the Marv to make our own kind of modern MRAP. So this is Bear Claw. Look at his freaking face, dude. Can you guys see the scratches on his face? There's like 3 Bear Claw scratches right across his face like that. Oh, it looks amazing. It is crazy the level of detail that the mold cutters are able to capture at this scale. I know a lot of you guys have moved on to 6-inch scale, and I get it because you can get more detail in there, but they can take that level of detail and shrink it down, and we can get way more detail in the sculpts of these 1/18 scale figures than they did back in A Real American Hero days. Like if you look at the back of his neck, he's got that line down the middle, and then the 2 muscles going down the left and the right hand side, right? Look at that beefy neck. Every piece of these has been scrutinized. So anyway, we added the scratch marks on the face. That's so cool. And yeah, so he's got the Remington rifle rounds on his chest right there. He's got a peg hole and a little concave area for this axe to peg in right here. And it sits right in that little concave spot. So it doesn't, you know, kind of like recedes into the chest. We didn't want to stick out too much. We wanted to minimize that. So you can see the little holder for that is actually recessed a tiny bit, right? So yeah, he's beautiful. Anyway, so this is Bear Claw, and he's our outdoorsman. He's made all of his own clothes. This was again designed by Ron Rudat. So yeah, I guess this is a Ron Rudat heavy line. I think the whole Wave 2 is Ron Rudat. Yeah, Soul Eagle, Bingle, Ritello, and Bear Claw. This is Ron Rudat's wave right here, guys. You know, Wave 1, I think, was 3 designs by Mark Pennington. General Mortifero, let's see, Dark Reapers, and no, Dark Reapers were Rudat. Mizumu Core was Mark Pennington, and Breacher was Mark Pennington. So 3 out of 4 of the Wave 1 figures that are already available on site right now. Go to operationrecall.com/toys and buy these figures, please. Wave 1 that's available right now, 3 out of the 4 were by Mark Pennington. All 4 of these are Ron Rudat's figures. And if you don't know, Ron Rudat is the godfather of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. He designed the first 120 figures of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Look at the detail on the communications device. That is exactly what I was telling you guys that we added this go around. Now, this is a kind of universal Atlas communicator, and you'll see it on several figures. You'll see it on Bingle in a little bit. We were doing a Midnight Ops version of Bingle, and the detail on the device, you can see it right there actually. See the red popping off of the black right there? I saw that and was like, oh man, that really brings that communications device to life. We need to do that for all the communications devices. And so now Bear Claw has black on his silver communications device. Somebody just asked, is Bear Claw taller? Yes, Bear Claw is a 4-inch figure. So he is just like Mortifero, who is the tallest of the Wave 1 line. Now, if I set these guys up heel to heel I have a grid on my table. So if I set that up right there at the grid together, you can see a sense of the scale difference, right? And then you put the bear hood on top of this guy and he gets even bigger. So this is something that Ron Rudat, Mark Pennington, Kirk Pazigian all wanted to do. And the only reason they didn't do it back during A Real American Hero is engineering constraints. The engineers did not want to deal with different size bucks. We do not have that problem. Our factory is more than happy to create a bespoke figure for every figure. We are not carbon copying bucks and just doing the exact same thing again and again and again with a little bit of flesh on top of it, right? So some of these have wider shoulders, some of them have narrower shoulders, some are taller, some are shorter. Runback will be the shortest of the line. You'll meet her, I think, in Wave 4, and she's a Japanese lady. So one of the additions for Bear Claw for this FEP is we added the teeth paint app right there on the bear cowl, which I think adds a lot. And yeah, this bear has like battle damage. You can see where he might have taken a shot right to the face right there. Incredible level of detail. I could not be happier. When you go from, 3D printed and molded, when you go from 3D resin printed prototypes to cutting molds and then seeing them in plastic, sometimes you expect to lose a little detail. We have not lost a single thing that I can tell. So here's a look at Bear Claw with his cowl on. The dude is a beast. He is an absolute beast. Now, one of the things you might recognize that is a pretty big change from the previous version. Let me see, where is he at right here? So the previous version of Bear Claw had a green rifle and a green backpack, and it just looked a little too much like a toy. These are toys and we want them to be fun and all that, but the green on green was just a little too much green, if you know what I mean. So I talked about it with the team, the concept creator, a couple other people, and we decided to do a two-tone. Look at that. That's actually a two-tone brown. We're not cutting any costs anywhere. So you take that color that's on the boots, you take the darker brown color that's elsewhere, and put that together, and you got a nice two-tone. Actually, let me put it right here, see if you guys can see it better. You got a nice two-tone Remington rifle. And so that slides down into the backpack. Here is the new backpack. This is the old backpack. See how the straps right here were all that one dark color? So that was missing a paint app right there. So we added the straps right there and there. And yeah, I mean, how many action figure lines do you know? This is molded in green. We've added silver, we've added light brown, and we've added dark brown. I mean, 3 paint apps on a backpack, pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. So you slide that down, and this has a friction fit where, again, you can't shake it out of there. You shouldn't be able to shake it out of there, and that's what I'm testing it for. And I got to give a shout out at this moment to Mark Jerwig, who took Ron Rudat's designs and turned them into beautiful 3D accessories. Man, the first time I printed these off my Formlabs resin printer, they were ready to go. They were already sticking. I remember the first time that I 3D printed this Remington rifle and put it into this backpack. Man, that thing is really snug. That's crazy. They actually added a little indention on the inside of it. I don't know if y'all can see that. I think they did to make it even more snug. And this is a softer plastic, so it goes in and comes out, no problem at all. Look at that. And it is really snug in there. So we'll turn that upside down, shake the shit out of it. All set. That looks great. So that's a big improvement. As you can see from the EP to the FEP, we added the 2 paint apps on the straps right here, and then we went for the two-tone on the Remington rifle. And then, of course, the bearskin it goes up and around the backpack peg so that you can plug that in right there and wear it with the skin. Absolutely beautiful, man. This figure is incredible. You know, kind of everyone becomes my favorite as I work on them. It's nuts, man. Like, how do you pick and choose from these, man? They're all crazy. They're all crazy. So let's go ahead and gear them up. You just go ahead and peel this little strap off this peg down here. So get those straps wide open on the backpack, and then push these up. And you don't have to worry about it. I'll go ahead and take them off. So push these straps up. You can hold them back with your finger, right? And then get Rothello on there. And just go ahead and jam that down in there. That had a nice friction fit to it. Had a nice sound to it. You know, move these arms up, bring these straps around, and peg them in. And like I said, you can peg them on the looser one, or if you like, you can peel that off, pull it a little tighter, and peg it on the tighter one. I'm gonna go for the tighter one for now. All right, and then we're gonna go on right here, do the same thing on the other side. All right, that's pretty snug. Yeah, that backpack's not coming off. And then you can put the arms down. I think, you know, doing it the looser way gives you a little more leeway on putting the arms down. So I think that's why we ended up doing that at the factory, giving you a couple options. I think for photographs, you know, do you want the backpack, if you have the arms up and you want the straps to look tighter, then you could do it on the first one. If you want them a little looser so you can bring the arms down, then you can do it on the second one. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, man, showing up in May. That's the timeline I've been given. And I remember when Bill Merkline sculpted this, I was at his house shooting with him. We documented the entire sculpture of Rothello. And when I saw that flare gun coming together, it was just like, oh man, the old man still got it, you know? So it's very exciting to be working with, you know, classic sculptors like Bill Merkline, classic designers like Mark Pennington and Ron Rudat. I should say Mike Good also sculpted a tremendous amount of these figures. Mike Good's an amazing sculptor, also a contract sculptor for Hasbro back in the, let's see, mid to late 80s. All these hands so far are soft, and I have no problem putting the weapons in them. So one of the issues, yeah, this hand feels great. Like, you see, I can stick the gun handle down in there, and I can turn it, and I can pull it right out. There's no fear putting stuff in there. And I know some people with General Mortifero and with Dark Reapers in particular on Wave 1 reported that the hands were harder than expected. And you know, you can drop them in a glass of hot water, you can heat them with a hair dryer, you can do whatever you want. But me personally, I just pinched it at the wrist and I peeled the thumb back and put the weapon in. But one of the things we talked about with the factory was we need to make sure that the plastic of the hands is a little bit softer. And so it looks to me like so far they have addressed that adequately with these figures. So let's get our first look at Rothello all geared up. The helmet has a nice friction fit on the head, fits perfect. Microphone falls exactly where you would want it. A bit off topic question. At one point you were exploring O-ring T-bar combo. Yes, I love that idea. I actually went out for a trademark on it and I was working towards doing that. Conceptually speaking, it was a little circle and then it was a bar that came down and it came out and had the two ball joints. And the factory was opposed to it. They said they had tried something similar, didn't have good results. And this is one of those things where I could have pushed back and I could have, you know, tried to have them explore it more, but I trust their judgment kind of. At that point, that was early on working with them, and I decided to trust their judgment. Now that we have been working together quite some time, I am very happy with them and with everything that they've done for me. And so I think it was the right call. You got to hire the right people and then trust their decision making, right? And so that's what I've done. So yeah, the action ring is what I was going to call it. I actually went out for a trademark application on the action ring. I was going to make it happen, man. But the factory didn't think that it was a great idea. So, you know, you got to trust your professionals that you're working with. You got to trust your partners, you know. So anyway, here's a look at Wilson. He looks incredible. 3 colors on this guy. It might be hard to see it, but he's actually got a little white in his eyes. Got a little white in the eyes there with a little black pupil again. And he's molded in that gray color. And then the dark gray, I'm sure, is hand painted on there as well. So we'll put Wilson right down here at his feet so you can see him. He looks really cool. All right, let's get back. I'm going to put this one over here. This is the EP again with the not quite so final paint apps. Just, you know, a heads up for folks that really love this line, that want to own some, you know, one-of-a-kind pre-production prototypes. I will be listing and selling a lot of these process items, right? So this will be a hand-painted EP prototype, engineering pilot, hand-painted prototype, and I'll be selling that. And I'm going to create a nice little documentation system for that to have a seal with the Orthrus logo, and it says Operation Recall Atlas and Atlas versus Orthrus pre-production artifact, and it's got a little stamp of the Orthrus logo on there. So I will be doing some auctions down the road when I get some free time. It's been incredibly busy here. So let's get into Soul Eagle, our wrestling character. Now, I will be selling the prototypes though, so you guys keep an eye out for those. Save up some money if you want them. I'm even considering selling the 2-up Paint Masters that I've been taking around to the conventions. So you guys save up some money and know that that is coming. And the reason I'll be doing that is because this line is going to be incredibly expensive. It's going to be like $1.3 million for year one. And so I'm bridging the gap, as I mentioned earlier, with some home equity and that kind of thing. But I would like to, pull some liquidity out of the line and keep reinvesting that in future lines. And so that's one of the reasons, and it also goes hand in hand with the legendary creators back on active duty, is to offer you guys these one-of-a-kind prototypes. All the package paintings, all of the pre-production illustrations from Ron Rudat and Mark Pennington, all that stuff has been available if you've been following the line. So this is the backpack for Soul Eagle. He's got one of the coolest weapons. It's got these big ammo cans with the ammo belt coming up out of the ammo cans. There's 2 of them that live on the backpack, on the back side of the backpack. There's a third one that can go in right here in the inside of the backpack. Let me go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. And so you'll just kind of push the ammo belt up there against it and squeeze that a little bit and get that into the backpack. Give me 1 second. There it goes. Actually, so maybe the easiest way is just to kind of go in just like that and push it back to get that to flex in under there. And then there it goes, tucked away. So you got 3 ammo cans in there, which is really cool. And you need a lot of ammo cans because he's shooting a freaking handheld Gatling gun at you, which is a beautiful design. This is another Ron Rudat. Ron does the coolest, like, imaginary weapons. Like, if you've seen Wave 1, you've seen Dark Reaper's giant gun, the Reaper. This is Soul Eagle's giant handheld Gatling gun, which I really enjoy. And I do believe that carried over from the concept of the original concept creator, which was David Emanuele, a good friend of mine. And this is a Puerto Rican and Mexican descent figure. He's got the Taino sun of Puerto Rican culture right there on his arm, which is a beautiful tampo. And that's something that Ron Rudat added to it. And I can tell you, David was very happy to see that. He's got the Flying Eagle knee pads. I freaking love these things. When you bend the leg, the knee pad actually stays up at the top part. Most figures, the knee pad is designed to be part of the lower leg. I wanted to include these at the top, so when you bend the knee, you can fly in and hit people with the knee, right? So it's like a Flying Eagle knee pad, and that's going to be one of his moves. He's got a pistol right there on his thigh. He's got armor on the chest. He's got rounds for his pistol, which is right here. This is like the Judge. Anybody that's ever seen a shotgun pistol called the Judge, that's kind of, at least, theoretically, that's what this was designed after. So the premise of this weapon is that it's a shotgun pistol, and those things do actually exist in the real world. So that's what that's based on. But yeah, the Flying Eagle knee is just incredible, man. He's got a very nice knife here, two-toned again. You got the brown straps in the case, and you got the black handle, and you got the blue jeans. So yeah, the level of detail that they're getting, the white around the lenses here, the sun, the rays of the sun on the top of the mask. Check out these straps on the back. Look at that beauty. I guarantee someone over there is spending hours upon hours hand painting those, and that blows my mind. The other thing, we put in black straps on the boots. I think both of these were upgrades. You can see here, this is the engineering prototype for Soul Eagle, and this is the final engineering prototype. So this is hand painted, and this is molded plastic. So you can see the difference in terms of luminosity, in terms of luster, and shine, another word for that. But then you can also see the difference in the details, right? So the bootstraps were not painted yet on this, and we went back and said, we really need to paint the bootstraps on there, because if I remember correctly, the strap on the back of the mask was so cool. was like, all right, if we're going to do that there, we need to do the straps on the boots on the front. And so that's what we did. And again, we're literally sparing no expense on this project. We are spending a ton of money. Don't worry about it. I'm not anxious about it. I'm confident in it, just like I was confident in the omnibus hardcover for The Art of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. I put 90 grand of my own money in on that. So I'm not worried about investing in something that I wholeheartedly believe in. And I do wholeheartedly believe in this line. So anyway, hopefully you guys can see the vascularity in the arms there. Now Hasbro did this on a few figures back in the day. Like if you look at Heavy Duty from 1991, I think 1990, 91, Heavy Duty had some good vascularity to them. We're adding those details everywhere that it makes sense to. So I'll go ahead and put this backpack on him, and that peg goes in that hole, obviously. All right, there we go, and sit him up like this. This is the Gatling gun. Let's have a look at that. I think, do you guys think he's right-handed? I think he's right-handed because he has a pistol on his right leg. But maybe he's carrying the Gatling gun with the left hand, and then he, takes the pistol out with the right hand. It's up for you guys to decide. So, as I've advised you in previous videos for Dark Reapers, these wrists are articulated, but that creates fragility, right? Like there's less plastic there to kind of keep it in place. So what I like to do is go in here and grab this thumb. You probably can't see that too well, but I grab it with my fingernail and kind of pull that thumb back, and that gives me a little more flex in there. And then I just go right in and get that weapon in there. See how that worked? That worked really, really, really well. Check it out. And the the thumb just kind of goes right back into position. No big deal. So that's how I'm advising for people to put the guns in the hands. But, if you want to use hot water, if you want to use a hair dryer, you do you, man. You do whatever you want to do. These are your toys. You play with them. All right, so let's get the pistol. And this is like the little handheld shotgun. And there is a trigger finger here. So just like my boys at Delta 17, one of the things that they pioneered that I really liked was this just slightly extended trigger finger. So the old G.I. Joes were just a cup, and this just pushes this out just a touch, right? It's still part of the mold. It's more like that. And so instead of like that, it's like that. And it's a subtle difference. It's a difference that I love. I think it's a great difference. And so when you're putting that pistol in there, make sure when you go in, you're going to hit that little ridge. When you get past the trigger finger, you're going to hit the ridge of the, the next finger down, the middle finger. So look at what you're doing and kind of tilt it away from that middle finger and then push it through. So it is going to feel a little different than a Real American Hero, because a Real American Hero had that kind of generic C cup. And these hands, like the Delta 17 hands, they have an extended, just slightly extended trigger finger. I should have shown you guys where the ammo can goes in. So you can see on the Gatling gun, there's no place for the ammo to go in there. There is a place for the ammo to go in there. So it obviously goes in on that side. So you kind of line the ammo up with that and pop it right over that little peg. And there you go. So there's your Gatling gun with your ammo can attached to it. And that is a badass accessory, man. I love this accessory. Really, really cool. Shout out to Ron Rudat, man. The Godfather makes some badass toys, doesn't he? Look at that. All right, now he's done and he needs a new ammo can. All right, check this out. This is the chrome belt buckle. This is really beautiful as well. We're going to do second versions of these characters, and I'll have you know that the first belt buckle is the World Championship, gold championship belt. The Desert Ops Soul Eagle that's coming for year 2 will have a platinum one. So there will be multiple belts to compete for, and I can't wait to see the battles with Sergeant Slaughter and the other big guys of the different big lines. I'm not going to bother to, well, you guys have time, right? I'll go ahead and put that on. You probably want to see it. So let's go ahead and take that backpack off. And again, this is like fresh from the factory. So I have not like broken these in at all. This should be a similar experience to when you first get your toys. Hopefully in May is what we're shooting for. And this should be a similar experience for you guys to get that belt on. And you've all worked with belts like this before. The trick is you just got to get the little band to go in between the two ridges, and the two ridges are what hold it in place. And yeah, it's got that perfect, it's just soft enough that it wraps nicely around the body, but it doesn't feel like weak and cheap and floppy either. So I think that's great. I think, man, the factory is just, they're doing amazing work, man. I'd say like everything they send me is like 95%, you know, which is, in my mind, that's a high percentage for products. So check them out. You got Soul Eagle, you got Bear Claw and Wilson, and you got Rotello and Homer. All right, last but not least for Wave 2 is Bingle, and she is an Indian intelligence sniper. And like I said before, and I am not sandbagging at all, I think this lady is the finest O-ring female figure ever made. I know. Sounds like hyperbole. I think it's true. I think it's true. I think she looks incredible. Look at that. Just proportionately speaking, anatomically speaking, you know, look at the definition on the back, going down to the hips. Look at the abdomen there. It's just, the anatomy is freaking incredible. The anatomy's incredible. I mean, obviously, it's a cool design. It's a beautiful design by Ron Rudat. Lots of touches. I think this is called a shuri. I forget. It's in the design paperwork. Look at the little gold details around the knee pads. Man, she is just beautiful. And then the rounds going on the around the forearm and up on the breast. That's a two-tone right there. It's got the yellow kind of, you know, it's like expandable fabric that basically like expands a little bit. You slide the bullet into it and pulls it back on it. So you got the gold rounds, and then you got the orange fabric there, and it's the same design that we have here on the forearm. Really, really beautiful two-tone paint applications. Very subtle because they're close in color, right? That orange and that gold are very close in color. Then you have the communications device, which on her is in gold, and the second color is black to make all those buttons pop. And dude, she is incredible. Amazing. So yeah, her hair is back for this first release, and this is the year one Bingle release, Wave 2, year one, Wave 2. Figure 4 is her where she's falling in the order of things. And there will be a year 2 version of her, Midnight Ops, that will have a toned down color palette. So yeah, she looks amazing. All right, let's look at her accessories. Enough crushing on Bingle. I do have a Native American woman that's a Inuit from Alaska coming down the line. Her name is Lilith, and she looks absolutely gorgeous. This is an Indian lady. She is from India, that kind of India. And so we do have a Native American Inuit from Alaska that will be coming. I believe Lilith is Wave 4, if I'm not mistaken. And she looks awesome too. Don't get me wrong. It's like I said, man, it's hard not to have favorites. But, you know, when you got them in your hands, they almost always become your favorite. But some are going to last. Some are going to stick with you more than others. And Bingle just sticks with me. Like, I freaking love Bingle. All right, so this is the mask. And I can already tell they tried a different plastic this go around. The last plastic for this little mask was a little too soft, and it didn't stay on well. So I'm eager to try this out. You can see a little nose indentation right there. And so... yes, are they all your favorite? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when they're in your hands, you're going to find things to love about them. But I will also say, what I was trying to say is that some of them stick with you longer, and you feel that way again and again and consistently. And I will say with Bingle, I consistently feel like this girl is absolutely incredible, you know? So yeah, this is a mask that we were creating for Midnight Ops Bingle. She was going to have her hair down, but have a little face mask on for her Midnight Ops. And I was like, you know what? We're already tooling that up. Maybe we should give her an extra pop of color for this wave. And one thing you guys haven't seen yet, but that has been in the design all along, this is called a sari. And this is what Indian ladies use for a touch of color in their outfits. So you just kind of raise that arm over her head, put that through, push this down. Oh, sorry guys. Flip it over. Push it down to her shoulder. There you go. Yeah, and now you have the sari. And you can see like where it bends a little bit to go over the breast, and then it comes back down and rests on her hip. So I think it'll be pretty natural to you guys to figure out which way the sari goes. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? She looks incredible. And then of course you have the weapons case, and this is based on a weapons case that I own. I have a large Pelican like this. I've actually got 6 of them. I use them for video production equipment, and they're olive drab, and I love them. And so I believe I added this to the project, which is fun. I don't, obviously I don't direct everything. I work with a ton of insanely talented people. But every now and then there's a piece of it that I get to bring to the party. And so I think the Pelican case was my idea. But so anyway, you just open that up and then flip it out, and you've got your Lapua Magnum. And this rifle actually has colors on the scope, both tips, just a little touch of color there, a little bit of added value. And then you have the magazines in there with the little bit of gold, little touch of gold to show the rounds in there. There we go. Very cool. All right, let's put her on her stand. And so she does not have a backpack, so she'll probably like lean back a little bit more. All right, guys, so this is Wave 2. I live in Australia and received my complete Wave 1 order. The attention to detail and quality of the figures is admirable. I didn't get to read the rest, but thank you so much for the compliments there. That's really nice to hear. We have been working very hard to get these things out to you as rapidly as possible. Again, we took delivery of them January 28th, and we've already gotten out every single Kickstarter order, every single backer kit order, and every website pre-order. So we're busting ass over here to try to make sure that, these go out to you guys as quickly as humanly possible. So thank you. I appreciate the kind words on Wave 1, you guys. That's awesome to hear. It's a dream come true for me, man. I cannot believe that we are getting to do this. And I know the entire creative team is having a blast doing it. So let's see how much battery I have left. I guarantee my phone always dies when I do these. So my phone's probably going to die. But I'm going to go ahead and start you guys off on the 2nd year versions of these. You got Delta 17 guy, you said, please make sure you change my address. I'm going to ask you to message me, and you make sure that I've updated your address. Message me right now through Facebook or through my email, and give me your address, and I'll go into Backer Kit, and I'll go in the spreadsheet, and I'll check it. I'll definitely check it for you, but just go ahead and send me a message, all right? Okay, so let's look at year 2. Please, y'all keep in mind, I've got a spreadsheet with like 2,000 names on it, right? I had to take all that information out of Backer Kit and bring it into Excel to have more granular control over it. I'm gonna have a conference call with Backer Kit. We're gonna do what's called a post-mortem in the corporate world. And I'm gonna tell them exactly where their platform kind of fell short on fulfillment, on being able to do really granular fulfillment. Because we've got 20 SKUs for year 1. All right, fellas, check it out. Stick around, because we're going to look at Midnight Ops Rotello. We're going to look at Midnight Ops Bear Clawed Wilson. We're going to look at Desert Ops Soul Eagle. And we're going to look at Midnight Ops Bengal, the hottest female O-ring action figure ever made, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Well, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. All right, so first things first. Delta 17, I am 3D Joe's on Facebook. So you can hit me up through 3D Joe's, or you can hit me up through Operation Recall, or you can hit me up through R. Carson Metaxas on Facebook. I'd really prefer that you email me at my last name at mac.com. Metaxas at mac, short for Macintosh.com. Yes, I just said my email address on YouTube, and now I'm going to get some spam. But I will suffer through that for you guys to be able to reach me directly. All right, so this is Rotello, and this is actually a year 1 Wave 5 figure. This is the only sub-brand or sub-line figure that we're doing for year 1. So this is Midnight Ops Rotello. He was the very first of our kind of re-releases. And just checking out the articulation, making sure everything functions. It's coming off the same molds as the other guy. There is no new pieces for this particular figure. There are for most of the other ones. But yeah, this is a Midnight inspired deco set. So, as you would expect, all black accessories, touch of color on the figure stand. I think there's a touch of color here and there, here and there. It's very subtle. Here you have the same backpack, same black straps. Let's go ahead and gear them up though. We'll go ahead and stretch those out. Stick that head up in there. Push that back. Nice friction fit sound. We will go ahead and put the straps on here. I did go ahead and make the belt buckle shiny, and that's because that's a special forces insignia, the Deo Presso Liber. It's actually the same thing I wear on my ring. So that's a tribute to my father. And so I did keep that bright on this figure. For these Midnight Ops figures, you will see a touch of red. So he's got it on his keyboard right here. He's got it on his infrared signal up here. But other than that, they're gonna be really toned down, you know, Midnight Ops figures, as if, you know, this is a fighting force that goes out at night. And so they want to be more discreet. And these will fit in perfectly with your old action figures that also fought at night. So I cannot wait for you guys to get these and put them all together. Look at that. Look at that beautiful figure. You know, so Ron Rudat, I should say Ron Rudat, this design, and God bless him, and I absolutely love it. I was able to do this second design, and yeah, I think you guys will be able to put 2 and 2 together and see where my color reference came from. I think this figure is going to look really, really nice next to an old vintage figure that is also very, very special to me. So I'm gonna make him left-handed. Now, why would he be left-handed? Because I'm left-handed, guys, and Ritello is me. Haven't y'all figured that out? No, really, you know, I submitted Ritello when I was 10 years old, so I've got an unnatural connection to him. So I made him left-handed because I'm left-handed, okay? All right, look at that figure. Isn't that just beautiful? I mean, I feel like I could just end the video right there, man. That's it. Go home, go to sleep. Midnight Ops Ritello, absolutely beautiful. Just freaking perfect, man. Freaking perfect. So anyway, all right. Yo, Animated Taco, what's up, Scott? You have missed. These are the final engineering pilots. So, you know, the original ones that we got last, that I reviewed last month, these are hand painted. And these are the actual molded in color plastic with the spray ops and everything. So this is the final engineering pilot coming off the press with the molded in color blue there, as opposed to the hand painted blue here. And we've walked through some changes that have been made, some improvements. So you'll definitely want to watch the whole video. All right, so this is the version 1 Ritello. This is version 2 Midnight Ops Ritello. He is shipping with Wave 2 in May of 2026, and he is shipping as part of Wave 5, the final wave. Now, as of right now, I'm conservatively calling that summer 2027. But, you know, if the figures sell well and I throw some extra money at the factory and speed things up a little bit, we could potentially go a little faster than that. It's really about liquidity. These are a tremendous amount of money up front. We've got minimum order quantities of 3,000. So, you know, it's a $1.3 million project on maybe $700,000 worth of funding, plus my home equity and that kind of thing. So, yeah, if we sell through the figures more quickly, we might be able to move through at the factory a little more quickly. I'm always going to be fully transparent with you guys. I think I've built my reputation on being completely honest and open and sharing with you guys. And so I'm going to continue that tradition. All right, so this is Bear Claw and Wilson. And as you'll see, I mentioned on Ritello, there might be a touch of red here and there with these guys. Now check out on him, he's got it on where you would expect the Remington rifle on the scope there and there. A couple little touches of red. And again, got the nice friction fit on the backpack. You know, you have to look at the backpack and you see that the water bottle top is right there. So you know that the top of the backpack is up here. Put the rifle back in. We'll go ahead and put his little bear skin on. And for me, so this is the final production colors. This is the final plastic. And I asked them about the gloss. I wanted to tone it down just a little bit on the skin. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good about the level of gloss on the skin on these guys. So I hope you are too. I think they look fantastic. I don't think they're too glossy at all. I received a tremendous amount of positive feedback on Wave 1 for the colors and the sheen and everything. But I did want to look at the skin tones and make sure that the skins were not too glossy. And I'm feeling really good about these. So I hope you guys are too. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments. So this is Bear Claw, and we're going to get this little friction fit in on this bear skin. Man, he really pops. He looks amazing. Okay. I know, man, I need all these guys ASAP. You know, I wish I could have them all tomorrow. It would be incredible. But I think one of the beauties of, you know, the way that we're forced to roll out Operation Recall is, God, there's a shorthand word for it. Oh, Scott, this is one of the details that's new. We added the second bit of color to every communication device to make all the buttons pop. So for Bear Claw and Wilson, Super 7 sucks for painting flesh tones. I just read that. I didn't say that, but I agree with it. Flesh tones should not be painted. I will die on that hill. Flesh tones should not be painted. I do not agree with that practice at all. Okay, so yeah, these little colors being added on all the communications devices really up the sophistication of the look of those devices. Really, really happy with that. I mean, look at the little silver applications on the buckles here, on the pants here and here. I believe that's something, if I can find the engineering pilot for Bear Claw, you guys should see my desk right now. It's absolutely insane how much stuff is on this desk. But they've nailed it. The paint apps here, absolutely gorgeous. Every little touch of color that we wanted. You know, I went back and forth. Big Joe actually recommended to paint these teeth white. And I was like, no, 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 no. The force that used to like fighting at night did not have that many paint apps like that. We are spending a tremendous amount of paint apps for, you know, the kind of version 1. Like if you look at Ritello, we were talking about Homer, how he's got like 6 paint apps just on his bird. Homer has like 6 paint apps. It's crazy. We don't cut colors, or excuse me, we don't cut costs and minimize colors ever, like for any reason. But we do make decisions based on aesthetics. And I'm a firm believer that these Midnight Ops figures, we need to keep it simple, you know, with the accessories and with the paint apps. Like, so the paint apps themselves are toned down, obviously. It's working in a midnight setting, so we want it to be dark and, you know, mysterious and everything, clandestine. So he's killed a brown bear in year 1, and he's killed a black bear in year 2, and that's how it is. See, we got some more red on the pistol there as well. So there are little touches of color, but we don't want to go overboard with it on Midnight Ops. We're trying to maintain that classic, you know, simplistic, dark, mysterious look. All right, I'm going to skip a figure. I'm going to skip Soul Legal, and we'll come back to him because I want to go ahead and do Bingle while we've got Midnight Ops on the table, because she is a Midnight Ops figure. And like I said, man, I really do. I'm in love with this figure. You guys can pick on me later. It's fine. Drop some comments in about how this dude is like so obsessed with his female action figure. I'm totally obsessed with her, man. She is gorgeous. All right, but one of the things that I want to do for her, these hair colors need to match. And as of right now, this is more of a black, this is more of a brown. This is going to go away. I never liked when Hasbro changed the hair color of characters like Duke, going from Duke version 1 to Duke Tiger Force. There's no reason for it in my mind, right? So we're not going to do it with this toy line, and hopefully you guys agree that that's the right call. So anyway, one of the changes that we will be making to Midnight Ops Bangle is she will have black hair to match the version 1 Bangle. And then we'll go ahead and get her accessories out. Now she has probably the most likely to be lost accessory in the line. Nice little set of night vision goggles, NVGs. Look at that. And like I was saying, man, the 1/18th scale, you know, I realize why a lot of people are collecting 6-inch, and I'm buying all the 6-inch stuff. Let's see, we have way more construction work this year. That means more money to buy figures. Awesome, dude. Get back to work and buy more toys. Within reason. Be responsible, but thank you for supporting the line, sincerely. Yeah, so these night vision goggles are very likely to be the first and most frequently lost accessory, but they're absolutely beautiful. All right, so this is Midnight Ops Bingle. Hair color should stay the same unless she's decided to go platinum. Yeah, you want her to go blonde? Yeah, I'm super happy with this. I mean, I remember when I got 1984 Baroness, it was the first like attractive female O-ring figure. I can say that. CoverGirl was not attractive. Scarlet was not attractive. Um, this has that soft plastic, right? See that right there where it bends up a little bit? It's easy to bend. This has that same approach that they absolutely nailed in 1984 with Baroness. And so she's got that same approach with that softer hair here. So yeah, this is just a gorgeous figure. There you can see on the control pad where we've got the red accents on the communications device. And you can see the silver rounds this go around for her, and silver rounds up there at the breast as well. I love this collar, and it doesn't limit the head motion. Look, the head can still go forward and back, right, left and right. And then it's got this really nice sculpt detail where the collar comes up closely around the neck. I love it. Such a good look. And then the NVGs fit right in here. And we had to work closely with the factory to make sure that this would fit in here, but not, we didn't want to have to push the hair out and make the hair look bulkier. So that's one of the things that we've been looking at on these. We wanted the hair to hold the NVGs in, which they do, as you can see right there. NVGs are not falling off. Even do a little shake test, right? So you're not going to lose them because they're falling off, right? But once you take them off, man, you're going to lose them. so be careful with those accessories. I'm telling you, we're not going to be able to replace missing night vision goggles. All right, guys? We might do accessory sets, though. A lot of you people ask for accessory sets, and I want you to know I hear you, man. I do hear you. And we are developing something. We're actually developing a weapons crate. And this crate will attach to Pack Dog. It will be an accessory that works in collaboration with Pack Dog, which comes with Runback. And that's going to be awesome. So we're actually already developing it. So those of you that ask for accessory packs, please know we are working on them. We hear you and we're working on them. Oh, she's got one more accessory, of course. She's got the mask that I was showing you on the previous one. This one's in olive drab. Scott, I already mentioned on the previous one, they did make this out of a more rigid plastic, and it does work a little better than the original from the engineering pilot. So let me get this on her. Oh yeah, that little snap. It actually snapped on. That sounded great. I'm tempted to keep this mask for Midnight Ops. I really feel like with Midnight Ops, it makes more sense. She's out there at night with her hair down, got her mask on, trying to be mysterious. She's doing dirt at night, and I want to keep her identity, confidential. So I really like this accessory for Midnight Ops. I'm not sure I really like it for the original Bengal. To me, this is the Bengal that's going through the Bangladesh airport, with her little carry-on case. She's an intelligent sniper chick. I don't think she needs this mask for version 1. And I feel like it helps differentiate version 2. It works better with the hair down, because once you put it on version 2, you don't see the clasp around the back. You don't see it. With version 1, when you put this on, let me show you guys what it looks like. And you guys tell me in the comments, man, what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, we've already got the the hair is up in a bun for version 1, so that's unique, right? You got the hair up in the bun for version 1, you got the hair down for version 2, so that's a unique attribute. But what are your thoughts? Should she come with the mask with version 1, or should we save the mask for version 2? Here's what she looks like. So here's my issue with version 1. Okay, so yeah, you love the pink mask. I appreciate it. Good to hear it. But see on the back how it's got that little break in it, and that's necessary to like spread it and put it around her neck and get it to hold on. That is hidden with version 2, and I feel like it works better with version 2. But if you guys don't mind it, tell me that. Let me know. Like, yeah, dude, you really need to include it with version 1. This isn't going to cost us much. We've already cut the molds, right? This is not a hell of a lot of plastic to pour. I can include this with version 1, no problem. I just don't know. I feel like with version 2, it's a better fit. It hides behind the hair where the break is. It fits more like thematically with running these midnight missions. So I don't know. You guys let me know how you feel about it. Do you think the mask should be held just for version 2, or should it go with version 1? And I appreciate you guys weighing in. That's one of the fun things about doing these videos. So let me see, I might have swapped the cases. Make sure I got the right one. Yeah, so this is the version 1 case. It'll be cool to go ahead and show this. Your daughter loves the pink. That's awesome. I have a 6-year-old myself. Can't wait for her to play with these toys. Hopefully she'll show an interest. Let's see. Okay, so I was like, uh-oh, is that broken? But it's not. So there's a little indentation right there, and there's a little indentation right there. What you do is you line up the kind of ball with that indentation, and then line up with the other one and just push it down on it a little bit. And there you go. Right? A skull spray pattern for version 2 mask might be fun. That definitely could be fun. All right, check out how subtle this one is compared to this one. I think that's so cool. How you guys feel about that? There are still silver rounds in here, so you can still see the little sniper bullets. Let's see. And then check this out. This is the Lapua Magnum with the red details on there. And I'm sorry I don't catch every comment. I will come back in and definitely try to answer all you guys' questions. But thank you. So yeah, you got 2 different rifles for the 2 different versions. These guys are killing it. Just killing it. I was so happy to see the little silver rounds right there. I thought that was brilliant. And I think one thing, we were going to add a texture, like where this is a smooth plastic right here on the case, we were going to add a texture there, and I think that's missing. So that's one of those details, like these might be called final engineering pilots, but if there's something like that that we talked about doing that I'm not seeing yet on execution, then we've still got to go back to the factory and say, hey man, these look amazing. However, we missed, you know, these 5 things. So one of the things, Scott, is that the boots need a second color up here at the top, and so they did miss that. So we'll get that dialed in. All right, last figure of the night. I know you guys are probably tired of listening to me talk by now. I appreciate you joining me, and this is always very exciting to do. So there are our 3 year 2 version 2 versions of our Atlas operatives. Now, one of the characters that we revealed for Wave 1, but the year 2 version of him, was Desert Ops Breacher. And so let's check this out. Yeah, definitely a goal of ours is to make sure that all the accessories have somewhere to go. All right, so this is Desert Ops Soul Eagle. And I've already been talking to the concept creator about this one, David Emanuele. And we're going to go with a darker gray on the knee pads and the straps right here. And that'll help, you know, create some separation, some more visual breaks there, which is what we want. And then the color of the mask itself, this tan, is pretty close in color to the skin tone right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to color this mask orange to match the shirt. So the mask is going to be orange to match the shirt so that it separates more from the skin color that's on his neck and shoulders around him. So that's going to be a big change that we're going to make. So again, these are final engineering pilots, not exactly final. All right, let's check out his accessories. I think I already told you guys, he has a platinum belt for Desert Ops. Shiny, look at that. Yeah. Love it. And then, you know, the first one's gold, second one's platinum. The figure stands for Desert Ops are going to be tan with the same red A that we have on the standard Atlas stands. The backpack, again, has that little indentation on the back where you can put the third ammo can, and then you put the other 2 ammo cans in there. So go ahead and get those in there. All right. Yeah, you can put the weapons in the vehicles. You can put the weapons in the bases. I hear you. You don't have to always carry them. The other thing you can do is put them in your weapons crate on top of Pack Dog and have Pack Dog carry the extra armament around, right? So that's one of the things we're working towards. I think it's fun. All right. And then, again, for the Gatling gun, you just kind of line up that peg that you see right there. Yep. Line that up with the little hole on the ammo, and then make sure that the ammo goes into that little indentation right there. There we go. There's our little 2-tone weapon. So we got a tan ammo can for this one and a black Gatling gun, which is visually like striking, comparatively speaking, to the first one. So let's check out the first one right here, right? So when we do second releases of these, we like to try to switch them up whenever, wherever possible. All right, so let's go ahead and put this backpack on. I wonder if if they put a hole in the soft goods yet. Now, he actually comes with 2 pistols. We're gonna put the second pistol, which is what we would like to call the cousin of the Desert Eagle. Look at that beautiful pistol, sculpted by Mark Jerwig. Shout out to Mark. That will fit in this little cubby hole. You kind of have to finagle it to get it to go in there, but there it goes, right? That'll fit back there. Put that on his back. All right, and that'll hold it in place, right? Okay, and then he's got the shotgun pistol I was telling you guys about. To me, it's based off of the Judge, if you guys want to look up what shotgun pistols are like. My ex-wife's grandfather had a shotgun pistol. That's how I learned about the Judge. He was not threatening me with it. He was a very nice guy. All right, and so for this Desert Ops camo, again, we've spared no expense. It's molded in that light tan. It's got orange on top of it, and then it's got white on top of that, and then it's got black on top of that. So we got a nice 4-color camo here for Desert Ops, which I think looks absolutely beautiful. The lime green accent colors, I believe those came from Gabriel Mangum, who was the concept creator for Breacher. I work with all these guys. They're so cool, man. These guys are friends at this point. We all became friends because of Operation Recall. You know, they submitted these figures. I created a Facebook group, a message group for us to talk about all things Operation Recall. And from there, we've all just become fast friends, you know. And I've gotten so many good ideas from these guys, and they have absolutely helped me to blow the budget. So thank you, Scott. I blame you for blowing the budget. At least 20% of the budget is on you, brother. I'm just kidding. Anyway, these guys have amazing ideas. They're all very talented artists, and they contribute their time and their energy to the line in so many ways, and I'm just really grateful to have them. I would also like to say, you know, I'm a video and animation professional. I graduated from NC State College of Design in 2002, and I've worked in that field for a couple decades now. And so I'm not a toy maker. I'm a guy that, you know, I archived the hell out of these toys. You know, I built a pretty darn good website. I made a pretty darn good book. I've, you know, traveled the country and interviewed these guys and done my absolute best to honor their work and preserve their work. And then we just so happened to decide, hey man, let's make some toys together. And that's how this happened. You know, I didn't set out to like enter the toy business, right? But I just followed my passion for toys and stumbled right into it. And these guys are just, you know, it's Ron Rudad, it's Mark Pennington. They haven't been designing action figures for decades. And look at the potential. Like, look at what they're still capable of. It's absolutely incredible work. To me, this was a no-brainer. This was just one of those ideas, like once you have it, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and you can't stop. You can't not do it. So I'm just compelled at this point to do this line, and so that's what I'm going to do. And so thank you to every one of you that are helping me do it. You guys are the fuel in the tank that keeps me going. Now, one thing I'm not seeing here, and I might be overlooking something. Let me look back into the box and see if I missed something. But there is one more accessory for Soul Eagle that should be in here. I don't think it is, man. I think they left it out. That's not very common for the factory to leave something out. Let me keep looking through these other bags and see if I see it. I don't think it's here. All right, so I mean, this isn't like a fantastic spoiler alert. He's gonna have soft goods because he's a badass. Look at that. This is the engineering pilot. So again, this is hand painted. This is Soul Eagle hand painted. And this is the older engineering pilot. This is the soft goods that they sent with that. It's kind of a parka that wraps all the way around them. Again, we've got the 4-color camo here. We got the light tan, the orange, the white, and the black printed on soft goods. We're not cheap, man. We are spending tons of money on paint apps, on unique molds. I think anybody that's been paying attention so far will know that there are no reused parts across all of year one. Now, yes, there's Ratello version 2, and yes, there's Mortefero version 2, but there are no reused parts across the 18 unique characters for year one. Think about the financial investment of creating 18 of these from scratch with no reuse of parts. It's insane, but it's what we really wanted to do for Mark Pennington and Ron Rudat. Why would we want to limit their design, their dreams, right, of how they would design these things? Why would we want to limit it by forcing the reuse of parts? That was something I very much did not want to do right out of the gate. And so for year two, you'll see, you'll see Desert Ops, you'll see Midnight Ops, you'll see some characters that are a unique combination of parts, and you'll see 10 all new characters as well that Ron Rudat and Mark Pennington are working on right now. So we're going hard right out of the gate. And all I can ask you guys, we need 3,000 of you to support this line, because minimum order quantities at the factory are 3,000. So there's simple math there. I've got to pay for all those, right? And so the quicker those sell, the more that returns to liquidity, and the faster I can reinvest in year two. And I've already paid Ron and Mark to start design work on year two. We're actually already over halfway through design of the unique figures for year two. So I am pressing along as if this line is going to be incredibly successful. And this is just what we're going to do for the next several years. And I hope you guys believe in that vision as well, and that you can recruit your friends and help us make it come to fruition. If this is extremely successful, we will be making vehicles, we will be making comic books. It's just a question of, that capital up front. Making this stuff is expensive. So I hope you guys are happy with the quality of Wave 1. Thank you so much for being patient with us as we worked to get Wave 1 out to you. It took time. It took time. We did things traditionally, and that's not how things are done anymore. We sculpted these figures by hand. Every one of these was sculpted by hand before they went to the factory and got scanned. And then they got refined further by extremely talented digital sculpting artists that refined them further. Mark Jerwig sculpted every accessory in 3D. And then those required very little rework at the factory. So Mark Jerwig saved me a lot of time. Shout out Mark 2 Toys. The figures, though, we did these the traditional method. We did these in a way that nobody does them anymore. We 3D printed resin bucks and sent them to the sculptors, and they used plumber seal epoxy, just like they did in the old days, and clay, to sculpt these figures from scratch. And so if you haven't come to a convention and seen, let me go ahead and answer this question. Mizzle Fug, absolutely. Go to operationrecall.com/toys, and you can order all of Wave 1. They're all still available. I ordered, like I said, 3,000 of each, and I think we've already shipped 1,500 to 2,000 of each. And so I've got about an extra 1,000. That's just ballpark. I have not counted them, right? I'm too busy to be counting right now. So thank you guys for spreading the word about this and helping to reach that 3,000 threshold that we really do need. To get this to go at a rapid pace, we need to sell through figures, right? That's just the brutal reality of it. But it's going to happen. I ordered 8,400 of the book, and when I got it delivered, I immediately shipped the 4,000 to the backers and the pre-orders. And within the next 2 years, I sold the other 4,400. There's no doubt if you make a quality product, people will discover it and they will buy it. The question is the rapidity, right? Like how long are the cycles? And so the faster we can chew through these cycles, the faster we can move on to our next dreams for the project, right? So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Wave 2 Figure 1, Ratello and Homer. This is Wave 2 Figure 2, Bear Claw and his little buddy Wilson, the raccoon, who's beautiful and amazing. I can't wait to see his personality in the comic or the cartoon. I think a cartoon with these guys would be incredible because we got so many fun characters. Soul Eagle right here. This is our championship wrestler. His father was actually the championship wrestler. Soul Eagle went into the military. He will take a brief respite from Atlas, and he'll go on to his wrestling career. He doesn't want to age out of it, so he wants to go do it while he's young. And then something tragic is going to happen to Atlas, and he gets recalled to duty along with a lot of these operatives. So that's part of the comic book story. Operation Recall is actually the story arc name for the first comic book. It'll be 8 issues. The cartoon, We need less missed rounds. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's gonna be plenty of bloodshed in the comic, unfortunately. Like, it starts out hard, man, and I think when you set the tone with that up front, I think the comic is gonna be mature, and if we ever do a cartoon, I think the cartoon can be fun and for kids, you know? We don't want to be, us 40-year-olds, us 30, 40, 50-year-olds, we don't want this genre to die with us, right? So we need to bring in some new generations. So I think, the strategy that worked for me for G.I. Joe, the cartoon sucked me in, the comic book kept me a fan all the way through my teenage years. And that's kind of the world building was so memorable that it sticks with us to this day. I would love for this to become a universe that is that memorable, right? And so we have ideas, we have storylines. If the toys are sell well and are profitable, we will absolutely be making comic books because I love the comic book genre. And I know comics don't sell much these days and blah, blah, blah. I love the comic book genre, and that's just something I would love to investigate in and invest in and to create in that space. So that'd be a ton of fun. But anyway, so this is Wave 2. These are going to be here in May, is what I'm hearing from the factory. So what can you do? You could go to operationrecall.com/toys, order Wave 1. Wave 2, for those of you that didn't get into the Kickstarter or the backer kit, it's not too late. You can absolutely buy these figures as they come in through operationrecall.com. Operationrecall.com/toys is the direct page to order the existing Wave 1 figures. And if you are one of those people that missed the Kickstarter, missed the backer kit, and you just want to support the line and go all in, the backer kit is closed, but I can still help you do that. The reason that you need to reach out to me though is I need to manually take that information from backer kit into my fulfillment methodology. So don't try to find the backer kit and go in there and plug around stuff and just expect that everything will work. Just reach out to me and I'll send you a direct link and you can get in there and put your information in and I can charge you. And then I'll add you to my fulfillment paperwork to make sure that you go ahead and get your Wave 1 shipment and that you get every shipment after that follows. So thank you guys, as always, for the support, for joining me on these videos, for the feedback, and yeah, for sharing the word with all of your collecting friends that there's a badass new line of O-ring figures out here made by the vintage creators of A Real American Hero. We got Ron Rudat, we got Mark Pennington as our designers, we got Doug Hart as the package painter, we got Bill Merkline and Mike Good as the figure sculptors. We got Carter the Conqueror as the digital figure sculptor. We got Mark Jerwig of Mark II Toys doing all of our accessories. We got an amazing team. They're all at operationrecall.com. You can meet the whole team. There's even a little video there with the vintage guys talking about Operation Recall and why they wanted to do it. So please share the word with your friends. And more important than anything, open up those Wave 1 toys, have some fun with it, take some pictures, put them online, tag me in it, and let's have fun with our toys. All right? You guys take care, man. Thank you, James. You're one of those guys always giving me good energy, man, and I appreciate you. I appreciate every one of you guys that interact with me. And, doing something like this, kind of putting your life on the line, putting your house on the line, putting your time on the line. It's you're believing in something, and when you get people that believe with you, that are just good people, like just give you good energy, man, it is very much appreciated. So thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to doing the next video with you. You guys take care. Peace.